Every year, hundreds of thousands of skilled workers around the world have one dream: getting selected in the H-1B lottery and working legally in the United States. But here's the truth that most people never hear. Your chances of getting selected depend on who you are, where you studied, and how many people are competing that same year. In 2026, USCIS introduced updated registration rules that changed how selections work. And if you don't understand the system, you could be making mistakes that hurt your chances. Stay with us until the end, because we are going to break down exactly how the H-1B lottery works, who gets selected first, and what you can do to improve your odds. Welcome to Global Immigration Scope, your trusted source for accurate, up-to-date immigration news. Today's topic is the H-1B visa lottery for fiscal year 2026. This is one of the most discussed and misunderstood visa programs in the world. Every year, thousands of employers and applicants go through this process, and yet confusion remains high. Everything we share today is based on official guidance from USCIS, that is the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, as well as publicly available data on registration numbers and selection rates. We are not going to give you guesses. We are going to give you facts. Let's start from the beginning. What is the H-1B visa? The H-1B is a non-immigrant work visa that allows U.S. companies to hire foreign professionals in specialty occupations. Things like software engineering, data science, finance, medicine, architecture, and more. It is one of the most popular and competitive work visas in the world. What happened for 2026? For fiscal year 2026, which begins on October 1st, 2026, USCIS held its H-1B electronic registration period in March 2025. Employers who wanted to sponsor a foreign worker were required to register online through the USCIS system during this window. The big update that continues to affect applicants in this cycle is the Beneficiary-Centric lottery system that USCIS introduced. Previously, employers could file multiple registrations for the same worker through different companies, which some people exploited to game the system. USCIS changed this so that the lottery is now organized around the individual worker, not the employer. This means that even if you have 5 employers willing to sponsor you, you only get one entry in the lottery, not 5. Why did this happen? USCIS made this change to make the lottery fair. In some previous years, the agency found that consulting firms were filing thousands of duplicate registrations for the same individuals just to boost their chances. This was unfair to all the other legitimate applicants. The new system fixes that. When does it take effect? This beneficiary-centric model is fully in effect for the FY 2026 cycle. Selected applicants will be able to start employment on October 1st, 2026 at the earliest. Who is affected? This affects any foreign national who needs H-1B sponsorship from a U.S. employer, including people currently in the U.S. on OPT or STEM OPT, people applying from abroad, and those transferring from other visa categories. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets very important. The 2 caps and why they matter. The H-1B program has a total annual cap of 85,000 visas, but not all 85,000 go into one pool. Here is how it is divided. First, 20,000 visas are reserved for people who have earned a master's degree or higher from a U.S. university. This is called the U.S. Master's Cap, or the Advanced Degree Exemption. Second, the remaining 65,000 visas go into the regular cap. This is open to all eligible applicants worldwide, regardless of education level. Here is the key point most people miss. If you hold a U.S. master's degree, you get 2 chances in the lottery. Your registration is entered first into the master's cap pool. If you are not selected there, your application automatically moves into the regular 65,000 cap pool. So, having a U.S. master's degree genuinely improves your statistical odds. Who is exempt from the lottery? Not everyone has to enter the lottery. Workers at universities, nonprofit research organizations, and government research institutions are exempt from the cap entirely. If your employer falls into one of these categories, you can file an H-1B petition at any time of year without going through the lottery. Registration requirements. To enter the lottery, the employer must have a valid USCIS online account, Pay the $215 registration fee per beneficiary. Submit the registration during the designated window, typically early March. If selected, the employer then has about 90 days to file the full H-1B petition with supporting documents, including a labor condition application approved by the Department of Labor. Wage level requirements: USCIS and the Department of Labor pay close attention to the wage being offered. The salary must meet the prevailing wage for that job in that location. If the wage is below the required level, the petition can be denied, even after selection. So, selection in the lottery is just the first step. The petition still has to be strong. So what do these numbers actually mean for real applicants? The competition is intense. In recent years, USCIS has received anywhere from 300,000 to over 780,000 registrations for just 85,000 slots. That means in some years, your overall chance of selection has been as low as 15 to 20%. Even with a U.S. master's degree, your combined probability across both pools is typically only marginally better. This is why many applicants feel frustrated. Talented professionals with years of experience, good job offers, and strong qualifications are being turned away simply because of random chance. What happens if you are not selected? If you are not selected, your employer cannot file a petition that year. You would need to wait and try again in the next registration cycle. In the meantime, many people on OPT or STEM OPT extensions continue working while waiting for a future lottery. Others explore alternative visas like the O1 for extraordinary ability, the L1 for intra-company transfers, or TN visas for Canadian and Mexican professionals under the USMCA agreement. What happens if you are selected? Being selected means your employer can now file the full H-1B petition. USCIS will review the petition, which typically takes several months. Premium processing, for an additional fee, can speed up the decision to within about 15 business days. If approved, your H-1B status typically begins on October 1st. This is a firm date. You cannot start H-1B employment before then. Even after selection and approval, there are risks. A change in employer, a layoff, or a delay in filing can all cause complications. Also, USCIS can issue a request for evidence, called an RFE, asking for more documentation. If not responded to properly, the petition can be denied. Looking ahead, what might change with the H-1B program? There are ongoing legislative and regulatory discussions in Washington about the future of high-skilled immigration. Some proposals would increase the annual cap, which has not changed since 2004. Others would give priority to higher-wage positions or favor applicants with more advanced degrees. There have also been discussions about expanding the definition of specialty occupations and strengthening wage requirements to better protect both American workers and foreign applicants from being underpaid. From a policy standpoint, the H-1B program remains politically sensitive. Each new administration brings the possibility of rule changes, whether tightening enforcement, expanding caps, or changing selection criteria. Our expert view is this: the lottery system in its current form is likely to remain for at least the near term. However, applicants should stay informed because regulatory changes can come with little warning and directly impact pending or upcoming petitions. If you are planning to apply, work closely with a qualified immigration attorney. Document everything carefully and always file early within any given window. To summarize, the H-1B lottery for fiscal year 2026 follows the beneficiary-centric selection model that USCIS introduced to make the process fairer. There are 85,000 total slots, 20,000 for U.S. master's degree holders, and 65,000 in the regular cap. Competition remains high, and your chances depend on how many total registrations USCIS receives. Understanding the system is your first step to navigating it successfully. Thank you for watching Global Immigration Scope. Stay informed and subscribe for the latest immigration news and visa updates from around the world.